What up, you fluffy bastards? My name is Liquid Blitz, and update 4.1 for PUBG is dropping very soon, or has dropped if you're watching this a little bit late. It's got some pretty big changes that I think are worth talking about. However, in this video, I'm only going to be discussing the weapon changes, because I love me some stats and specifics. Now, just in case you don't want to watch the whole video, the summary is that they are basically really trying to encourage close-range combat with a huge buff to SMGs and shotguns and a nerf, sadly, to assault rifles. Anyway, let's go through the changes in order of range, starting with the longest, snipers. Just a couple of changes here. They increased the damage of the Kar98 from 75 to 79, and they lowered the damage of the M24 from 79 to 75. So they flipped the damages. Previously, the M24 was essentially better in every single way, a remnant of the fact that it used to be a crate-only weapon. But since they added it to the regular world loot, with the same rarity as the Kar98, it hasn't really made sense why one completely outclasses the other. So this update actually made a lot of sense to me. Now you have the choice of higher damage with the Kar98, or better accuracy and speeds and handling with the M24. That's a nice balance if you ask me. Keep in mind they both still one-shot a level 2 helmet and not a level 3, so that hasn't changed, so they're basically still the same. Moving on, there's no change whatsoever to DMRs, so we skip straight ahead to assault rifles. Now this is where things turn sad. Across-the-board nerf. First of all, they've reduced the damage of the barrel from 47 to 46, which actually makes very little difference in bullets or time to kill. The only reason they reduced the damage of the barrel is because it has to remain lower than the AK. Now, the next change. Now, I love the AK and the Groza, so the first time I saw this change a couple of days ago, my soul was cleaved in twain. Damage of AK and Groza reduced from 49 to 47. Sad face. After looking at the numbers though, the only significant difference really is they no longer two-shot a level 3 helmet at full health. Now it takes 3 shots. But that's the only really big actual change, so it's not too bad. Next, they reduced the damage of all the 5.56 assault rifles, except the M16 from 43 to 41. Now this means a headshot to a dude with no helmet and full health is no longer a one-shot kill. Now it takes 2 shots, and that's kind of a big change. That being said, that should only really make a difference at the very start of a game when people are still scrambling for a gun and don't have a helmet yet. Think of this change as it just gives you a little bit more of a chance at the start of a game of not getting insta-killed if you are screwed by the loot god. Anyway, that's the AR nerfs covered. Let's move on to the SMG buffs. The AR nerfs and the SMG buffs are really like sort of two sides of a single coin, and that coin is bringing balance to close and medium range combat, giving the SMGs much more viability rather than just being outclassed by assault rifles in every situation. First buff, and this is a big one, you can now attach a red dot sight and a hollow sight to the Uzi. Slap me thrice and hand me to me mama. The Uzi is a much-loved weapon, especially in early game. Everyone loves the Uzi. It just rips through people at close range without even aiming down sights. The one thing that always held the Uzi back, in my opinion, was the fact that the recoil plus the iron sights made it very hard to sort of aim at people consistently while shooting beyond like 10 meters. So it was always a very close-range weapon. Now that you can shove a red dot sight on there, I'm kind of worried it's going to be too easy to use. Oh, something else to note. The adding of the rail on top of the Uzi, allowing the attachment of a red dot sight or hollow sight, actually changes the default iron sight completely. As you can see, before it had what I call a ring sight, now it has a line sight. Yeah, I know all the terminology. I'm a professional. Anyway, to help the Uzi dominate, and indeed all the SMGs, they've improved the damage fall-off over distance slightly, and they've increased the damage you do to the torso and limbs. In other words, SMGs just got into the big leagues. More than ever before, they can now go toe-to-toe with assault rifles. I reckon they're going to be a viable option now all the way to endgame even, especially when paired with a sniper rifle or a DMR to cover the long range. Anyway, moving on down again, we have pistols. Just one small change in this update. The laser sight dispersion multiplier for pistols, I'm reading this off the screen, was improved from 0.5 to 0.3 times dispersion. In other words, hipfire and aimed hipfire just got significantly more accurate. Before this update, the laser sight gave you 50% more accurate hipfire. Now it's 70%, which, I mean, 20% accuracy buff is nothing to be sneered at. Go Team Pistol. Now moving on again, we get to shotguns. Now everyone that watches me live on Twitch knows I hate shotguns. In PUBG at least. Sadly, along with SMGs, the shotguns have been majorly buffed, as you can see, to further encourage close-range combat. They've increased the damage per pellet of every shotgun. In this list, you can see the S12K has gone from 22 to 24, which gives a maximum potential of 216 damage per shot if you don't miss. The sawed-off has gone from 20 to 22, giving a max of 198, and the double barrel and pump action both from 24 to 26 per pellet, giving a max of 234 damage. So if you like shotguns in PUBG, we can't be friends. But you can now enjoy a new higher damage. Next change, the duckbill attachment now distributes the shot vertically, not horizontally. This means if your aim is over a player's chest or torso, you're going to be landing more pellets on average, I think, but you're going to be landing more headshots as well because of the extra vertical spread thanks to the duckbill. Anyway, lastly, one final change for the shotguns. A nerf, oh my god. The maximum distance you can now shoot a shotgun has been nerfed from 1,000 meters to 150 meters. Okay, now, correct me if I'm somehow mistaken, but who the hell uses a shotgun further than 150 meters? It's with a heavy heart that I inform you all you can no longer snipe long distances with shotguns in PUBG. Because that was such a large part of PUBG, I don't know how we're going to manage. Anyway, moving on one final time to the crossbow, this thing just got a total overhaul. I mean, firstly, right off the bat, they increased the torso and limb damage by 40% and 30%. 40% and 30% fucking what's wrong with me? 40% and 30% spent. The fuck is perspent? By 40% and 30% respectively. That's how you say that. Now this is a huge damage buff, a massive damage buff for the crossbow. It's always been a one-shot kill to the head, even against a level 3 helmet. Now that hasn't changed, but before this update it was a one-shot kill to an unarmored chest and torso, which has always been awesome for early game, but now it gets even better. After this update, it's now a one-shot kill to the chest and torso, even with a level 1 vest. Now that's a pretty epic improvement, as I said, especially for early game. They've also increased the ADS zoom with the default crossbow sight by 3%, which can only be a good thing. And last but definitely not least, this is the best improvement. As you can see on the screen right now, they added a visible tracer when you fire a bolt, so you can see exactly where your shot goes. The biggest problem with the crossbow has always been the fact that you can't see where the hell your shot went. Well, not anymore. This tracer is a fantastic addition to the game, if I do say so myself. And along with the damage buff and the fact that it's silent, the crossbow is now, dare I say it, actually a viable option. Maybe. At the very least, it's now more usable and fun than it's ever been. Anyway, that's it for weapon changes in Update 4.1, and that's it for this video. Summary, ARs nerfed, SMGs, shotguns and pistols buffed, crossbow super buffed. They're definitely trying to encourage more close-range combat, whilst reducing the idea that assault rifles are always the best option. Because let's be honest, they pretty much are. Like this video if you liked it, like this video if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more similar content, and go subscribe to my second channel if you want to see me do full playthroughs of story and horror games. And I also live stream pretty much every day, but only over on Twitch. There's links in the description to absolutely everything. Liquid Blitz, out.